Sagittarius, I'm Lisi the High Priestess, and this can resonate in your past, present, or future conversations that you're having synchronicity. Press like, subscribe, notification bell. The notification bell, you can get my lives. If not, you have to wait 12 hours. This is a brand new channel with my old name. Okay. So the first card that I pulled out was the Five of Swords. All right. And then I get the Page of Wands and the Ten of Swords. This was a very bad idea. Okay. But someone still did it. Okay. I feel like there's a bunch of bad boys right here. Also, I feel like this gives me like gang stalking vibes. Also, members of a bunch of gangs. Okay. Gang unit as well. Also, I feel like they're hunting down the gang members. I feel like someone here has to know a person's tattoo. Okay. Someone's identifying certain tattoos right here. Someone is getting tatted. I feel like someone's drinking with a bunch of gang members. Or this is like, I think it's gang. Period. Gangs. Inner city gangs. The youth. Gang units. Gang stalking. Okay. Gang. Gang affiliated. Okay. But I feel like it's a bunch of little young kids right here. The Ace of Gold. These new age gang members. You could be a police officer. This is what you're doing. Identifying the gangs. Gang swap. I also feel like someone has like a throat tattoo. Whatever it is that they represent. Someone has it on their chest, tatted on their chest. The Queen of Cups. Someone likes to run with gang members here. The Magician. Are you in the gang? Or there's a lot of gang members with the Magician and the Queen of Cups. This woman that you love, she could actually come from a family of gangs, or like just a family, a cartel, or a unit or something like that. A frat house. Or this woman right here could be affiliated with these gangs. I don't know. They could live in the hood. Here's the King of Cups. Two people fell in love in the hood. I feel like this is a gang couple, a gang leader, or these two people that love each other are involved with gangs. It's a couple. It's a couple that's involved with gangs. Grew up in the gang. Okay. Family, married into family ties. They have their own kids. Now their kids are in a gang. Because that's how a generation of gangs. Six of Cups. Is this in the hood? This is a hood story. I don't know. They're falling in love right here. Someone fell in love with a gang member. Someone becomes someone becomes a gang member because they started to date a gang member. Now they're like part of the family, because that's what it is. Once you start dating someone that's in the gang, you become affiliated with the gang. Okay, so I don't know why this is so important. Could this be your uncles or aunts? Doesn't always have to be like a family, like maybe the Knave of Swords, like little football league or something like that. Okay, but I don't know. It's the Five of Swords, but what I see right here, skateboarding. It's gotta. I feel like it has to be something extreme. Someone could be a skateboarding club or something like that, or a bikers club right here. This gives me heavy emphasis on the biker, but gangs. That's still a gang, like groups, something like that. It could be a dance off crew, but it's a gang. It's a group of these kids. All right. And I see there's a couple right here that's amongst this group of gangs or whatever. It doesn't. It could be a biker gang. It could be even little league football, little league soccer ball. But there is a couple here leading these little gangs, these little people. Also, your family unit. Okay, that's your little gang. I see you love them. The Knave of Swords. You're watching your children, or you have to watch the children because I see that the little kids can be bad. The Four of Swords and the Knight of Cups. I just feel like someone has a bunch of little kids here or these young kids. Someone is leading them. It's a woman and a man. They're leading them. Four of Swords. The Six of Cups. The Knight of Cups. So it's like a little talent group or well, Juneteenth just happened, but I feel like there's a lot of leagues going on right now during the summertime. A lot of people running little leagues because it's summertime and the kids need something to do. So someone could be a soccer mom, football mom, or a parents who do a lot of little league stuff for their children. It's expensive and it's a lot of money to be honest with you and very time consuming. Very, very, it's time consuming. I understand this like it's like man, I feel like the kids don't even want to be in there. They're only doing it because their parents are forcing them to do it because they don't want them to be running the streets or become gang members and stuff like that. Someone is getting their child involved in all kinds of sports to prevent them from entering gangs. Or this is how you were raised. You were put in a lot of sports because they didn't want you to enter the gangs. The Knave of Gold or your brother, the Six of Cups, and the Temperance. Okay, so someone I feel like someone grew up on sports here. But sports is its own little gang as well. It's just a different name. I wish people would understand that because it's still like a league of people. It's still like a gang of people just working on shooting the ball instead of selling drugs and running the streets, you know? They turned their demons into talents. That's what I would like to say. Because your demon is the material, it's what is done here in this material earth. The Moon card and the King of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. Okay, because they could become whatever they want. Like even these people that are in sports, people are in Hollywood. See, we tend to put our children, oh, we're going to put them in creative arts and Hollywood and all of that, like have them act, have them sing so they stay away from the streets. But the streets are tied into Hollywood and into the sport, even in the sport world. A lot of these kids are raised in the hoods and they hang around with people that are gang affiliated. And when they make it and they get into the college, they still go party with these kinds of people. Okay, the Moon card, the King of Pentacles, and the Seven of Cups, because they sell those kind of drugs to them. I mean, so we work this hard for them not to be on drugs and not to be hanging around with them just so they can hang around with them. And they're going to make their choices anyways. But at least we try our best not to get them involved in stuff like that. But somehow, some way, everything is interconnected, yo. It's a trip. The Four of Cups, the King of Wands, there you are. and the 401s. Everything is tied in. Though we like to see, I feel like with the moon card and the 4 of cups, we tend to let it be a secret and ignore it, and not, put light into that kind of stuff. But it's true. A lot of these people who are elitist are stuck on drugs, so they're still being ran by gangs. But that's not true for everyone. The 3 of Pentacles is not true for everyone, because we all do different types of work. Somehow, some way, it's all intertied. The masses are really lost, so only a few, if because a lot of people sin, and we all sin differently, and we all have favorite sins that we have. So I feel like we lie a lot to our youth, and they can tell that we are, and them in return, they lie to us to make us think that we're right. I don't know. I don't know. The King of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, even people, even money is like a form of drug, and it can be very addicting. Okay, that people will sell drugs for the money. Okay, I feel like we're always raised on poor man mentality. We are the moon card. We are, whether you're rich or poor. The fact that we no longer can really, we've never really have found kind people out here. Um, we have to be kind to ourselves and be an example, because this world is a very cruel world. We live in a very cruel world, Sagittarius. Though you know it or not, it's a cruel world. And we have to be the kind person, but we also have to understand that demons hide in kind faces. Not everyone that is kind to us has good intentions for us. And these things as gangs that could be very different. These people get together, even from gangs to sports to the music industry. It's the same people with the same type of talent hanging out with each other, that somehow one will leave to go hang out with another, and somehow we all get tied in to certain people without knowing it. But where I'm trying to get to you, or get at, is that when we have gangs and we preach the same thing to them, we can actually brainwash them to think that what we see is actually real, even though it's really an illusion. The money really is an illusion. We have given money value, and we have devalued what really is love. And we value more of power than what we do having spiritual meaning in anything. And and you got to understand, these words that I'm using, a lot of them are grounded. Power, money, that's grounded, that's material, weighs something in this world. But the things such as spiritual can only be weighed outside of this earth. It is not from here. It is something that only stays here temporary, and it can jump off to different realms and different energies, but it can never die. It can only be reborn. I don't know if you can understand me, or if it even makes sense. These gangs are reborn from a generation of two couples doing the same thing, and it happens again. And it's almost like in their DNA to be the way they are. Like a football player would figure, if he were to have a son, he might have a son that will want to be a football player. But what if that doesn't happen? Okay, what if it doesn't happen? And we feel like we might even be entitled to say things like, you're not mine, or you're nothing like me. Maybe it was meant to skip the generation, and be with with a grandchild or something like that. We put so much expectation on our children, like our children become our little slaves. And our little slave, we try to train them to do things so later on in the future they can benefit us. And then we can actually chase our children away, trying to make them our trophy kids. There's different words to use as far as how we train our children, and how we have these little soldiers of ours willing to do what we want. What happens when we lose control, when they find other people, such as gangs, or such as even these football players, the football teams and stuff, because there are known to have been hazings going on within the football teams, basketball teams, doing stuff like that. That's its own little gang unit. Just because it's used as a talent doesn't mean that all those people don't have energies in them. And when they leave home and they're no longer a football player, who are they really? That's why they say, don't judge a book by its cover, because you just never know. But then sometimes, we brainwash a mass amount of people at once and tell them that this is the way of life, when really we can train them to think differently, that we can be our masters of our destinies individually, and we don't have to be a gang. You could just be an individual living your best life. But that's not how gangs or even teams are meant to be, because we codepend on each other in order to win. I don't know. Heavy emphasis on group settings, okay, going against the tide, going against the group, okay, understanding that sometimes people hang in groups because they can't stand alone. And sometimes we have to stand united, or divided we fall. There's a time and place for all of it. Anyways, blessings.